Hi, I'm John. I'm known locally as the Hat Guy, for obvious reasons. um, I have an opinion about just about everything, and it's time that the world finds out what my opinion is because the world needs to know. Uh, this is my first blog. I'm going to talk about everything. Whatever strikes me, that's what we'll talk about that day. It could be political, it could be religious, could be craft related. For example, I do these. This is all my own work. I don't make the hat. I start with a pretty decent quality hat, and I make this, the band. I generally always lace them up the back, and the watch in the goggles is my uh, little creation as well. This one's fairly toned down to what some of them that I do, but I generally always have one on. Obviously, I like the steampunk flair, and people ask me what is steampunk. Steampunk, the best description I can give of what steampunk is a look at the future through the eyes of a Victorian. And the Victorians, this hat style was popular then, and the steampunk is generally a creative community, and that's where the goggles come in. These are basically, the premise behind them is they're welding goggles, and back in the Victorian days, that's what they used instead of a mask. And obviously, I couldn't use these anymore because one side has a clock in it, which currently isn't working. But at any rate, I just wanted to introduce myself. My name is John. I live in Florida. I've lived in a lot of different places. I've been to cold climates. Those of you in the north, I'm aware of it. I spent a couple of years up in northern Minnesota, and winters are brutal. I've lived in the Caribbean for a couple of years. That was great. Loved it. Grew up in the mid-Atlantic states, and was born in the Midwest, so I've traveled around a little bit. I've kind of somebody who's the jack of all trades and the master of none. I've worked a lot of different jobs over the years. Um, I ran a printing press for years. I ran a water treatment plant for years. I'm an ordained minister. I've written 5 novels, all of them sci-fi, and I'll talk about them on here one day. The You can look me up on Amazon and you'll find me. Not as the Hat Guy. Got to use my middle initial in my last name. Middle initial is M, and the last name is Greer, Grier. So look me up on Amazon and you'll find me. And especially if you like science fiction. 3 of the novels I've written are a time travel series. One is a young adult novel with talking animals and space travel, and the other one is it's an outer space adventure. It takes place mostly in the asteroid belt. So if you like a little bit of wild adventure, check my books out. Time Awaits is the time travel series. Moon Feathers is the young adult novel, and Rockhounds is the other book. But like I said, just want to introduce myself, and we could be talking about anything and everything. Good example. This happened to me today. I was getting gas, and I had to walk in the store to get the receipt. And as I was walking out, I held the door for the man who was coming in because that's the way I was taught to be. It's just the nice thing to do. And without acknowledging me or saying anything at all, he let me stand there and hold the door for him while he walked through. And 2 completely different thoughts entered my head. One was to grab him, pull him back outside, and shut the door and walk away because you could at least say thank you or acknowledge the fact that I exist and acknowledge the fact that he was well aware that I was not the doorman at this particular gas station. I've never seen a gas station with a doorman. Although maybe down in South Florida, some of those places might have one. I don't know. We don't have it here in North Florida. But the other thought was, people have just gotten so rude and self-centered. And somewhere along the lines, and I think this happened in the 90s, where we started training our children um, to only think about themselves. This whole thing of giving every kid a trophy. Every kid's important. Every kid needs to know that they're important. But not every kid deserves a trophy. When you deny the child the right to earn a trophy, then they become entitled and they feel that everything in the world is entitled to them and they're entitled to all of it. And that's the situation we're in now. Here we are a couple of decades later, and we're in a reality where a lot of people have grown up not realizing that the way they've been brought up and their actions are considered rude to anybody over the age of 35. Anyway, that's my thought for the day. Have a wonderful weekend. Have a wonderful day. And subscribe. This is my first one. There'll be more. I've got opinions on everything. But do a subscribe if you like it. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you'd like to hear me talk about. And if it strikes my fancy, we'll talk about it. If it doesn't interest me, I might not. I might. You never know. But I can guarantee you one thing. I will have an opinion about it. Anyway, I'm the Hat Guy. Have a great day.